Yo, what's good, guys? Inswain with Inswain Audio. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, make sure to subscribe and stick around because I drop videos every single day. Anyways, today I'm going to tell you why you need to stop mastering to -14 LUFS. Let's go. Okay, so just so you know, LUFS stands for loudness, units, full scale. It's a loudness measurement. There's other ways we measure loudness. This at the moment is the most accurate one in terms of it represents how humans actually hear. Like it takes the way that humans hear into consideration when it measures it. We don't need to get into the deeper details. That's all you need to know is that LUFS is a loudness measurement. Where does the -14 come in? This is Spotify's target. It's recommendation. It recommends when you submit a track to be released on Spotify to be at -14 LUFS. That's where this whole myth and this whole craze of -14 LUFS comes from. So Spotify has a setting called loudness normalization where it'll turn songs that are below -14 LUFS, like they're quieter, it'll turn them up to -14 LUFS, and vice versa. Anything louder than -14 LUFS, it'll turn them down to -14 LUFS. That's where this myth comes in, and people think that if you master louder than -14 LUFS, your song's going to get turned down on Spotify, and it's going to ruin it and sound bad and quiet. Okay, so where the problems come in is, first of all, LUFS isn't a perfect measurement. It's just, in the current day and age, it's the best we have, or the most accurate that we have, but it's not perfect. Two songs that are at the same LUFS level, let's take -14 for example, aren't going to sound exactly the same volume. You could have one song at -14 LUFS, song A, and then another song at -14 LUFS, song B, and song B can sound much louder. So LUFS is not the end all be all, it's not perfect. Also, look at most of the charting songs in modern contemporary genres on Spotify. They are all mastered to much louder than -14 LUFS. So what's the deal? Well, first of all, not everybody is using the loudness normalization setting on Spotify. So if someone submits their song at -7 LUFS and you submit yours at -14, if someone turns off loudness normalization, guess what? That -7 LUFS song is much louder. And you're losing out because you tried to aim for this arbitrary target. Another thing to consider is that Spotify isn't the only streaming platform. Some people use Apple Music. Some people use streaming platforms you've never heard of. So don't master your song just for one streaming platform. That's just insane. Also, what if Spotify decides tomorrow that -12 is their target? Now your song was for -14 and it's going to turn it up using their algorithm and you have no control over that. Or what if it's -15, right? You're aiming for an arbitrary target that could move tomorrow. So what's the answer here? Now that we know that two songs at the same LUFS level could sound different in volume, we shouldn't be chasing a LUFS level. Use a LUFS level as a secondary measurement to confirm what your ears are hearing, but just master the song to sound good. Making your song sound good is so much more important than how loud it is. Now, how loud it is part of how good it sounds, so that is something to consider, but focus on making the song, the master sound as best as it can. Most of the time in most genres, that's going to be louder than -14 LUFS, unless you're working with like orchestral music. If you're working with like rock, pop, rap, trap, all these genres, EDM, they're usually mastered so much louder than -14 LUFS that if you're shooting for -14 LUFS, even the other songs that are much louder, when they're turned down to -14 LUFS to quote unquote match that 14 target, guess what? Theirs are still going to sound louder because remember, two songs at a same LUFS level aren't going to always sound the same. So, because there's more than just LUFS, there's perceived loudness. These songs have more perceived loudness than yours do because there's more than just LUFS as a measurement. LUFS is not a perfect measurement. So when their songs are getting, even when someone has normalization on and these songs that are louder than yours are getting turned down to quote unquote the same level as yours, guess what? They still sound louder because they're perceived to be louder. So stop mastering to -14 LUFS intentionally. It's not a good target. It's an arbitrary target. It's a potentially moving target. And you're just going to be quieter than the other songs that are louder, even when normalization is on and they're turned down. And that's not even considering when people turn normalization off and now theirs is actually much, much louder. So with all that being said, what streaming platforms do with our masters once we ship them is out of our control, and we shouldn't be mastering for any specific streaming platform because, once again, it's an arbitrary target. It's a setting that people can turn off, and it's a potentially moving target. And even people that are louder than yours, when they're turned down and normalized, they're still going to sound louder because they mastered louder with more energy. And even if you turn that down to quote unquote the same level, we still perceive it as louder. There's perceived loudness, there's LUFS, there's so many ways to measure loudness. So with all of that being said, stop focusing on negative 14 LUFS. Master your song to sound as good and as loud as you can and as you want it to be. Do what's best for the song, not what's best for the streaming platform. I hope that helped you guys. I know there's a lot of myths and misinformation and confusion about this. It's hard to explain, but just trust me, master your song to be as good as it can and as loud as it needs to be. Don't worry about this arbitrary target. And that should, take some stress off you, take some weight off your shoulders. I hope that helps you. My name is Inswain with Inswain Audio. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.